Hello, welcome to Salon Spa Chat. This is the first Twitter chat for salon spas, owners, and service providers. We provide you with free information about management, retailing, salon well-being, social media, and success tips. And we use top leaders like Linda, our guest today, in and around the beauty industry as well. Also hosting today's show is my wonderful co-host, Jennifer Ellis Jackson. She is the founder of Simple Mantra Marketing. She is one of the United States of America's top salon and spa business coaches. She is a highly educated woman who helps anyone in the beauty industry and beyond. Believe it or not, she counsels so many industries, but she focuses on the beauty industry this year to attract more customers, to make more money with her proven brands of marketing and strategy. And she is also a product development specialist. SimpleMantraMarketing.com. She's live from Chicago, as I am. And my name is Jon-David. I am known as Mafia Hairdresser. I was the author and still am the author of Mafia Hairdresser. And that kind of branded me, and I learned social media marketing my book. And now I'm taking that on the road, so to speak, to help salons and spas with the knowledge that I know, as well as my contacts that I've made, such as Jennifer and Linda, and sharing this wealth of information with the world. And today's guest is a leader in the spa industry, in the spa world, actually. She's from Thailand. We will be talking with Linda Harding Bond, who is the owner of Moontide Consulting. That's moontideconsulting.com. She resides in Thailand, where the spa industry is booming, and she is known worldwide for her retail sales training courses, her well-attended workshops, and management coaching. Management in salon and spa coaching is so important these days to the success of salons and spas around the world. And we here at Salon Spa Chat recognize that every industry, as well as our own industry, has need for specialists in consulting to keep up with today's internet-driven retail sales and shopping habits of customers. And Linda is tops on my list of salon and spa experts, and she understands the internet of all things regarding retail in the spa arena. She is a Huffington Post contributor and hosts many online training classes for spa managers. So welcome, Linda. I'm so happy to have you on today's show.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
And you're not originally from Thailand. You're originally from the U.S., yeah?
I'm from Philly.
From Philly?
I'm a Philly girl. Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, welcome. Today's topic is awesome, and Jennifer and I have so many questions for you. And we want to highlight this topic. And it's today's topic is introverts in the salon industry. Is training enough for spas to survive and thrive? Tell me a little bit about this topic and how we came up with it and how we came up with getting you on here.
Well, the topic for me is very important. I am a spa trainer, but my focus is on introverts, JD, because although we comprise the bulk of the therapist segment of the industry, mm-hmm. the training is not designed for how we learn. And what that does is to negatively impact customer engagement. It impacts retail sales, and you know retail in the industry is suffering right now. We could do so much better with retail. Most resorts are doing approximately 2 to 10% in retail sales to service, and it should be, at least for resorts, maybe it should be around 15 to 20%, and for salons, always 30% and above. So
yeah, exactly. In one of your articles, you wrote the spa industry is losing an average of 5 to 30% in retail revenue a year.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And that's basically because the training is not, first of all, retail training is not performed. Engagement training, and engagement is the foundation of sales. Engagement training is not done. When it is done, it's typically designed for, it's old school. It's designed for extroverts. They're using the same programs that they used years ago because most people don't really think that introverts can sell. And traditionally, sales is, it's an area that extroverts gravitate towards. So the training has never been re-looked at. It's never been redesigned, even though in the spa industry, the bulk of our revenue should come from retail.
So,
and can come from retail.
Linda, let's take a step back. So we have these introverts that enter into the salon and spa industry. They acquire clients. They may be retaining their clients, but they're not getting enough incremental sales or sales that pretty much are table stakes because of them being introverted and they're not properly trained. So as you mentioned, sales are historically for introverts. So how do we come full circle to, one, raise the awareness, and two, train these introverts so that they can get out of what they want for the industry, and it can be a win-win for the customer. Not the industry, but for their business, and it can be a win-win for the customer.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jennifer, that's a great question, and let's take a step back even further and look at the initial training. When first of all, the industry attracts introverts because we get our energy from within, and the environment of a spa is often it's so attractive to introverts because it's quiet, it's very serene. Mm-hmm. The communication is generally one-on-one. It's an environment where we feel comfortable. So the thing is that when we initially go to school, the initial training is focused on getting licensure or it's focused on getting certification. So in school, no one ever really teaches the students to sell retail, nor do they teach them to engage. And then once they go into the spa industry itself, once they get a job, the training is centered around products. And product training is not the same as the training that's needed in order to maintain, first of all, in order to gain a client base, and then once you gain the client base, in order to maintain that client base. So it's incumbent upon the spa managers to incorporate some type of retail training, and first start with engagement training. And what I would really love to see is the awareness of the product companies as well to overlay the engagement training with product training. So not only talk about the ingredients, because nowadays, I think they've done studies that shows that 60% of millennials do their research before they come to a spa anyway. Mm-hmm. So they don't necessarily need to know what the ingredients are. They know already walking in. They know, right? But what they need is, they need someone, they need a professional who can customize the ingredients to their skin for them or to their particular needs. So I think there's an awareness of the spa management. They have to begin to invest in this specific type of training because that's where your client retention comes from.
I love this topic that we're introverts. I'm a hairdresser, and Jennifer and I we try and educate owners who were hairdressers or were in the spa. Massage therapists become owners, and spa technicians become owners, and they're still introverts. We're still introverts. Yes. You don't see us at you'll see me and you'll see Jennifer, but you won't see an actual hairdresser at a networking event or whatever. And we love to learn the technical stuff. We're on YouTube scouring for haircuts and scouring for, the newest latest products. So we're into that. That's the junkie. But to actually actually know how to sell without selling. And in one of your articles, you admitted that you're an introvert yourself. And you don't. Yes, absolutely. You don't hard sell.
Never.
This is not your way. You engage, you say, and
it goes against my grain.
Yeah.
I can't imagine hard selling. That's just not my. That's not me. that does not feel comfortable to me. And I find that if you engage a person in conversation and ask the right questions and then really listen, they'll tell you everything that you need to know, and then you simply make your recommendations.
So
Active listening.
let's talk about what
Active listening, right.
or how do we
Right.
define hard selling? So is hard selling an upsell? Is hard selling booking the next appointment? Is hard selling making a product recommendation? Or is hard selling, as you mentioned, listening to the conversation to say, well, I know I need to probably have a massage at least every 3 weeks because I'm so tense, I'm so stressed out. I should probably be doing a hot stone massage versus a deep tissue or whatever. That's just an example. So how do we really define hard selling so we can maybe shift the conversation and then speak to the engagement piece?
I think that hard selling for therapists is what does not feel organic. Once they are trained in how to execute properly, when it doesn't feel right in your gut, that's probably a hard sell. When it's not in the flow of the conversation, when it doesn't fit, when you're just kind of plopping that recommendation somewhere, in the conversation, it's probably a hard sell. But I really believe that if you listen and you kind of follow your own instincts, it will feel right to you. Now, the thing is that, as you know, this is a skill set. And when we first begin a skill, it can be learned.
It can be learned.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. But initially, we're all conscious incompetence. So at that point, it may feel like a hard sell. And until we get to a point of proficiency, it may feel like a hard sell. But we'll recognize it later on that it's not. It's not. As we become more comfortable in doing it, you won't have to hard sell. A few years ago, I was working for one of the best known resort companies in the world. They have spas, and they're beautiful, very highly regarded. One day I was sitting at my desk in home office, and these two men pushed a trolley, handheld trolley in. Piled on top of the trolley were these huge lawn and leaf bags. We call them lawn and leaf bags in the States. Big green bags.
Yeah, okay.
And everyone in the office everyone started getting very excited. And I'm like, what's going on? I was the only one who didn't know. And they pushed the bags over to a desk, and they open up one of the bags, and the bag is filled with products that were unsold. So apparently, several times a year, they would go around to their resorts and just gather everything up that was either near expiration date or had passed expiration date, and they would bring it back. Now, of course, it was still usable because we're talking shampoos, body scrubs, that type of thing. But they would bring it back to the office, and it was just a write-off. And when I looked at the product, aside from the thousands of dollars that I saw the company losing, what I thought about was each one of those products recommends the lack of engagement.
Mm-hmm.
Because retail selling comes from engagement. That's the first step. So each one of those products represented what that therapist did not do in that room. So along with losing money, you're also that also impacts customer retention. And then, when you take a product home, when you purchase a product and you take it home, each time you experience that product, you're probably thinking back to the experience that you had at that salon or that spa, even subconsciously. So now you're losing an opportunity for branding. If you're talking about millennials, who knows?
And
that may
anyone
remind them
watching
to write a review.
they can actually visualize it. I'm a technician, so I can visualize what I'm talking to a client about when I'm giving her this product, and I'm saying, well, when you put it on your desk, you're going to remember me, and you're going, I can connect with that experience to them at home, any product at home. I don't have to put my name on it. And we do have to be trained for this. It just doesn't come naturally. The salon owner, the spa manager has to teach this to us, us technicians.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There is the training or the lack of training begins in the schools. It continues through the product training, and then there's a failure to connect the dots by spa management. They don't make the connection.
Yeah, it's just not it's just not features and benefits. It is we have to know the connection to the customer, to the product, and that circle.
That's right.
It's a nice loop.
That's right.
But we also want, I'm sorry, go ahead, John.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, please. Please.
We also want the technicians and the practitioners to understand, too, that depending on how the trajectory that you have planned for your career, it behooves you to seek out some training. So if the managers aren't doing it, if they see an opportunity to sell retail, if they want to, like you did, Linda, branch out on their own or get more clients, because if you get more clients and you have in your spa or salon, then you have an opportunity to make a sales story. You have a sale case to the manager to say, look, this is what I'm bringing in, and then you can be heard. So I think it's certainly a two-way street, but for those new practitioners, those new technicians, it is very important for there to be some type of training. But at the same time, we again want to encourage all of us to continue to seek constant training, ongoing training, because things are changing. As you mentioned, millennials come in with way more information historically than what's happened. So if you've been in the industry for 20 years, then it requires you to think a little bit differently than you did historically.
Mm.
Absolutely. And Jennifer, too, the thing is that when we think in terms of Sephora and stores like that, it's not necessarily that when you walk in, they are the most well-versed people, but the way that the products are presented and the fact that you do have access to information often in those stores. So these are the types of venues that these spas are competing with. The last thing that you want, and they are very attractive because I love Sephora's, I love Ulta's, I love Blue Mercury's. But the last thing that you should want as a spa owner is for your guest to have a treatment and then walk out of your spa and go to Sephora. To me, that does not make any sense at all. It's worth the investment, which is literally pennies on the dollar if you amortize it day by day. I am amazed. To me, when you open a business, there are certain necessities that you must have. Of course, you must have the equipment, but you have to have a marketing budget and you have to have a training budget. Nowadays, if you really want to be in the game, if you want your business to thrive, these are investments in your business and in your staff that you must make.
And if you don't invest in that, your staff walks. You're not being able to, you can't employ them. You can't keep the customers. You can't retail. You can't make the profit margin off of the retail, which you need. Up to what percent do you say that the spas need to be? What, Linda? What is the percentage that a spa retail should be in their spa?
I'll tell you what, the spa where I worked before, we were doing about 35% retail sales to service. The low end of our spa, the low girls, they were doing around 30. But 35, 40% around there. That is the ideal. And
if you're not meeting that ideal, you should be investing in training.
You should be investing. I did, a little math, and if a spa owner invests in a training program that's, let's say, $2,000, bearing in mind this is going to cover all of your therapists. So if you have 10 therapists, you're spending $200 per year in training for those therapists. But if you divide the 200 by 350 days, that's 57 cents per day.
It's It's
I mean, it's like,
you
come
could
on.
put literally put $1 in a piggy bank and build that money up so fast. Like
So fast.
so fast.
So fast.
And
And
what a great investment. And just very quickly, back to the quiet influencers. It has so much impact on how we should look at training our staff members. Quiet influencers consider how thoughtful social media platforms can advance their cause. That's Jennifer Kunweiler at jenniferkunweiler.com, one of the links that you provided me. And she says, quiet influencers begin their influence journey when they think and recharge the best in a quiet place, and time and energy increases with self-awareness, which spurs creativity. So we are creative people. We work in a salon. We work in a spa. We
yes.
are introverts. That's why we work there, and that's a good word. And we don't hard sell. I am not a hard sell person. I'm terrible at hard selling, but I do love to engage my customer. I do love to engage that. And I had to be trained by this. I had to have consultants, and I sat in classrooms and watched videos with people like you. You're one of them. And so what is it that you do? So you go into a salon and spa, and I know you have online courses, and you can tell me about that, but what is your technique of getting through to these introverts?
Well, first of all, I'll give you a few of the things that I do. The first thing is, when you're training in retail, when you're training in engagement, what you have to do with introverts is typically when trainings are done, they're done in large circles, people sitting in large circles. What I do is to break them out and make the circles more intimate. I like to have 3 or 4 people in a group because that's more comfortable. That's not intimidating. I don't do icebreakers. You know those horrible icebreakers where you're supposed to turn to a person and tell them about yourself, and you try to make yourself sound very interesting and very up and very chipper.
Yeah.
Nobody likes that.
Not salon spa people.
And then oh my God. And that person is listening to you, but not really, because they're trying to figure out what they're going to say about themselves. So then when they introduce you, it's whack. You know, it's very uncomfortable. So the icebreakers, I'm very conscious of that. And I don't do those types of icebreakers. I try to keep them very, very low. They may, and I ask instead for people to talk about their favorite meal. And they do it within that group. And this is kind of just to get the juices flowing. But everything that I do is done on a much more intimate scale. And when I train, I try to duplicate or replicate the environment in which the training needs to be carried out. Because it doesn't make sense to me to train a person to sell retail standing in front of a group of people when you know that truly you'll never do that. When you interact, it's in that intimate room with your guest. So that's where I train them, in an intimate setting with the guests. So already now they're comfortable. And I really try to impress upon the therapist that this is your space. This is like being in your house. We work in the hospitality field. So the same way someone would not come into your home and be thirsty and you wouldn't give them a glass of water, you wouldn't do that. You don't want to do that with your guests. Clearly, if you see there's something that they need, you offer it to them. And it starts to click. Oh, yeah. I'm like, because this is your house. So there are certain techniques that you can use, but one is to duplicate the training in a setting in which they already feel comfortable.
So this is
not
good
take them out of their comfort zone.
A salon spa manager as well, because I've been worked for salons, and then they squawk out from 2 people, and then they do those icebreakers as well. I find it's just very discerning. I feel like I'm not interacting. I'm not digesting anything.
Right. And you know, the thing is that depending upon how, like shy is not the same as introverted. They can overlap. But if a person is extremely shy, sometimes if they know that there's going to be a training, it will give them anxiety the night before. I don't ever want, I mean, people already feel nervous enough. I want to allay their fears, and I want to create an environment where people can truly take in what I'm saying. And the way that you do that is to not make them fearful or make them nervous.
It says, you wrote composure, steady calm, and self-control, both of which put potential customers at ease. This is from your article, Huffington Post, entitled "Introverts Can't Sell," which indeed you show that introverts can sell. And I invite anybody watching to go to Huffington Post and put in the search "Introverts Can't Sell," or you can put in Linda Harding Bond. Her name will come up. It's a great article. Thank you. It definitely has some great tips on for managers and spa owners to really look at their staff members and to teach differently.
I personally, you have to teach differently, and it's interesting because often spa managers, particularly if they come from the ranks, they are also introverts. Mm-hmm. So I found that often, sometimes they're not training because they don't feel comfortable with it either. So the training often is just as much for them, and that's why when I designed the course, it was designed to teach the managers how to train their staff. Now, I can do it for them, but I designed it for them.
So they can fish instead of just eat fish. So if you train this spa managers, how to connect, retail and selling, not hard selling, but introvert type selling, that is, they can take that and now learn something new, a new product, and learn how to teach an introvert how to sell that product without hard selling, to engage selling.
Well, the thing is to engage, and basically though, the course is designed to start from within, not from without. So what it does basically is to teach the therapist how to find that happy spot within them. What is it that they can describe comfortably with a lot of assurance, and then take that feeling and transfer it over now to
which this allows a lot of
to the products.
Self verbiage. Like, I sell differently. I talk, when I'm talking to a client, sometimes I sound like a surfer dude all the time, just like talking, and it's coming from the heart, and it's the way I speak, not on camera.
That's right.
And so that's it helps to for me to sell just by being me, because I'm really saying it from the heart.
You go to a restaurant and you ask a waiter, what's good? There's a big difference between the waiter that says everything and a waiter that says, oh, I love this particular dish. Why do you like it? Well, I have it 3 times a week. I like it because I know that the chef goes to the market early in the morning, and they start chopping and cooking, and when I come in on my shift, I can smell it. And as they're describing it, you see their eyes light up. So 9 times out of 10, that is the dish that you will order. When it's organic and when it's authentic, people sense it. And when it's not authentic, people sense that too. They sense your honesty and your sincerity. And that's what sells. And the beauty is that once you get comfortable, once you kind of find that spot within you and you get comfortable with the products, then you start upselling services. Mm-hmm. You're upselling treatments. It's like it never ends, because now you've opened that Pandora's box. You've opened that. You've turned the key to selling, and you can sell anything. Anything.
Well,
but it's all about finding that spot within you.
Well, you you hit it on the head. I love the whole subject of classifying us as introverts and how we can connect our product to ourselves and then to our customer in retail.
Yes.
And good on you for that. And your courses are available where?
Courses are available if you can contact me at linda@moontideconsulting.com. They are also available on Spa Standard, which is a training platform. But what I want to mention, because this is very important, JD, this is not just an online course. What makes my course very different, because I realize that people are very nervous about embarking upon training. What I do is to live coach you during the course. And that's a very, very different feature that most online courses don't offer. I'm successful when you're successful, and I'm going to make sure that you're successful. So you get up to, I believe it's an hour that I offer. And the coaching can be done, the course is divided into 7 video modules. So the coaching can be done before each module, or it can be done afterwards, or you can complete the training. And then, basically the coaching can be broken up, or it can be before or after you deliver the course. And because I know people learn in different ways, the course is, you receive a trainer's guide, but you also receive video modules.
Yeah, so easily digestible in your own time.
It's easily digestible.
Yeah.
And in your own way.
Plus, you're backing it up with a personal one-on-one, which is awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it makes a difference.
And can they also go to Moontide Consulting as well?
They can go to moontideconsulting.com. Moontideconsulting.com. You'll see a banner there. I work with, let me put it like this, smaller spas, entrepreneurs who are just opening their maybe 1 or 2 person spa. I work with people because I believe that this is a course that everyone should have in their spa. Everyone should be taking this. Everyone, because it's just not taught anywhere else. So why not? And it's very, very easy. So yeah, Linda@Moontide Consulting or moontideconsulting.com.
Thank you so much, Linda, for talking to us, especially on, I love the subject, introverts in our industry, as well as retail for salons and spas. We really need to take that back, and it's easy if we can learn how Sephora and Ulta's are doing it. We do the same things, and just knowing that we have the wherewithal to recognize ourselves as introverts is just so wonderful.
Yes.
And do check out that article, anyone watching. Introverts Can't Sell, Huffington Post. If that doesn't convince you to get some training from Linda Harding Bond at Moontide Consulting, I don't know what will help you. I'd like to personally thank the folks at Foodie Chats for sponsoring this episode and the episode highlights of Salon Spa Chat on YouTube. It was my friends at Foodie Chats who first encouraged me to produce Salon Spa Chat. If you are a salon or spa owner, or you are in the beauty industry, I invite you to tune in on Twitter every Monday night at 8 p.m. Central for the Twitter chat, Foodie Chats. During the 45 minutes or so Twitter chat, you will talk and meet with foodies and big and small food brands, and you'll get recipes and increase your Twitter following and your Twitter expertise, all the while talking about great food. Thank you, Foodie Chats.